As Mark just eyes shiftily, like that scene from The Simpsons where they zoom in on the dog with the shifty eyes.
Mhm.
I think that's the end of the Mel Gibson episode, which
Yes.
is tragic in that it's so freaking funny, and he's such a lunatic.
Yeah,
but and not
That
in
was
a
when we all liked Mel and didn't know how lunatic he was.
yeah. Just there's a guy with some problems. Anyways, speaking of problems, welcome to the show. We'll be
welcome to the dumpster fire edition
right.
of What's on Joe Mind.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the Monday news drops from everybody, but holy crap, could we just slow it down a little and maybe get some good news in there? Just a thought. Anyways, do all those cool YouTube things. We're going to let you watch our cool intro and be right back. Stay with us. It's Tuesday night. It's 9:05. Thank you for everybody who was tuned in for the end of WCW Thunder on the Superstation. Welcome to What's on Joe Mind, a fan cast about the world of G.I. Joe. I'm your host, Mike Irizarry. How's everybody doing tonight?
I mean, I was better before sitting through Raven versus Hugh Morris. I mean,
come on now. That's good talent there. It's good talent.
One of them.
Look, Hugh Morris was a 300-pound guy doing moonsaults before that was cool. You got to give Hugh Morris his props.
Hugh Morris never sold one ticket in his entire career.
I mean, that's
they will all fall before the mathematical might of the actuary.
Because his name was Hugh Morris, is why he never sold ticket number one. But if that's your jobber to the stars, well, that's okay then. Dude. That's his role.
Hey man, Goldberg was 0-0 before he met Hugh Morris.
That's another guy who we liked a lot until we found out how crazy he was. Anyhow, moving on. Sitting to the right of me. Left.
No, I'm always on the right.
You're always in the right, but
that's true too.
Tonight you're on the left. It's the former head of marketing for G.I. Joe at Hasbro. It's the hot Joe Mark Weber.
Yeah, not that being the former anything is that exclusive anymore, but we'll get into that.
Right. You're just a guy in a crowd at this point.
Yeah, I'm wearing black today for a reason. Because I look good in it.
Right.
Damn good.
Because it's very slimming.
Yeah.
And in the bottom.
I was going to say, speaking of cutting some weight today, let's get to the news.
Right. I mean, nobody writes us with community calendar stuff anymore, so there's very little there. Anyway.
I don't think there's very little happening.
In the bottom row, on Tuesdays, we wear pink. Racktime Rob.
It's what I wore to my failed audition as Ken.
Don't worry, Rob. You are Kenuff.
Stupid
Derek
Ryan Gosling.
It beats watching Billy Kidman and Sick Boy. Billy
Kidman could go
on any given night, yeah, and then on any other given night, he was just a botch a minute.
I mean, his weakness was he didn't know the reversal for the hold that was, here, we put a microphone in front of you.
Is Sick Boy anything like Sick Kids?
No, we wish, frankly. But he was anyways, I won't go into that. To tune in on our step-by-step dissection of Raven's Flock from WCW in the late 90s, be sure to check out Special Edition 89 coming soon over your holiday time. Anyways, Dustin Jeffrey says, if there's no discussion about Christmas Comes to Pac-Land tonight, I'm leaving for Christmas Comes to Pac-Land live stream. I think they did cover that on our friends at Knowing Is Half the Podcast. I think they did review that show. So be sure to check them out if you feel like listening to those three folks, fine people, all of them, inflict 30 minutes of sheer animated torture on themselves.
I
You
remember
may have watched that the first time it came out.
Oh, dude, they pushed that Pac-Man cartoon hard on the back of comic books and the inside ads. And yeah, video game guys, so whatever. I was there as a kid, like, bring it on. Episode 1 of Pac-Man, can't wait. And even as a kid, when it was about halfway through, I'm like, wow, this is pretty friggin' dreadful.
Same. I loved playing Pac-Man. I loved playing Miss Pac-Man. And then that show came on, and I wanted to like it. I mean, I had no real illusions, because most of the time, Saturday morning cartoons, like, you were happy they were on. But I think it was more because it was Saturday morning and the possibilities were endless, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the actual shows themselves, even then, they kind of sucked.
Except Looney Tunes.
Sure. I mean, you had your winners, right?
Yeah,
like for an hour of Super Friends, we could not be bothered.
Yeah.
But Pac-Man just sat there like a wet fart hanging around in a cloud in a church. It was terrible.
That's why they brought back Super Friends.
I remember there was a Tarzan, the animated cartoon, for a while. Had like 5 episodes, I think. And my dad would walk through and just dismissively over his shoulder, as he'd do a bad Tarzan yell. Oh, did the bad monkey people steal the water again?
Well, it was a Filmation cartoon. So every 5 seconds, that Tarzan swing animation was going across the screen. So your dad probably saw that, because odds are it was what was on.
We couldn't get mad at him, though, because he was right. Half the time it was the episode where the monkey people stole the water. So Dad kind of knew he could take the joy out of a room when he wanted to. He'd walk through when we were walking Buck Rogers and just pronounce to the world, "Fat Buck, Fat Buck." And we were like, he's not fat. Well, I mean, who doesn't look a little heavy next to Wilma Deering? I mean, come on.
Right. I mean, it was not the most forgiving Silver LeMay, but
yeah.
You know, our mother used to do that on one particular cartoon. Every time we'd watch Spider-Man, she'd walk by and just go, "Isn't Aunt May dead yet?"
Firefly says that Pac-Man and Mask were neck and neck for brain cell destroying cartoons. Look, I'm not going to defend Mask as high art, but there are some episodes of Mask that were okay. Some of them were truly terrible and deserve that kind of derision. But there's Pac-Man's bottom of the heap, and Mask is more in the middle of the heap.
Dude, I will fight for not the intro, but the start of the Mask cartoon, where they ask the computer who are the agents best suited for this mission. I was in my Joe pitch for animation. I ripped that straight off, which is fine because Hasbro owns Mask too. Sure. And I'm like, you should have your core team of like 5, and then they're like Destro's causing trouble in, lower Waukee land or whatever. And then you say, which agents do we have in the region? And you hit it. And as a kid, if one of your favorites isn't in the regular 5, you're like pulling for the computer to say, Tunnel Rat or Beachhead or whatever. That was a great hook. And I would have used that like crazy, if they were willing to make Joe animation.
Right. Hank Perry notes that Mr. T had a cartoon better than the Pac-Man cartoon.
Yeah, I'd watch Mr. T before Pac-Man any day.
With his team of gymnasts and his pug dog with the mohawk as well. Yeah.
Right. Agent Chuckles liked John Candy's Camp Candy. I mean, look, it's John Candy. It's 20% better just because he's there. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't a bad show. It was very clearly a kid show, but it wasn't a bad one. Greg Augustin, Barbarians on the brain, Galtar, Thundar, and Black Star.
Wait a minute, who's Galtar?
Galtar and the Golden Lance?
Yeah.
I don't think we got that one.
That was after Thundar?
Yeah, it was like mid-'80s Hanna-Barbera when they were bringing back the Fantastic World of Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah, okay.
And then
they broke him off into his own half an hour with the episodes that they did from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let live chat continue to argue about cartoons without us.
Just don't bring up Heathcliff. Or Michael have to jump in there, start swinging.
What was that about?
Cliff.
Because I mean, God forbid that. I mean, I forget a show bit, but I don't remember that show bit.
Oh, you were killing on Heathcliff one time, right?
Was I?
Yeah, and now the video of you torturing the cat makes all the more sense because Heathcliff kind of spoiled the whole feline thing for you.
I'm not torturing the cat. He is a pampered brute.
Not anymore.
Oh
like,
no, he's gonna go right back for more of that.
The elevator.
Meow. 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 Meow.
Dude, I love the elevator pitch for that, right? You're like, okay, so dig it. It's like Overboard, but with a cat, and it's only 15 seconds long.
I would watch that on a loop.
You are watching it on a loop.
That's what I've been telling him. I'll be sitting on the couch, and all of a sudden I'll hear.
Does Mike ever say, "Hey, you think we should drive up this weekend and see Dad's cat"?
No, but I do often bring him treats. So
fair enough. Which one? Dad or the cat?
Dad's tougher to buy treats for these days.
We can't find any Entenmann's crumb cake anywhere.
Right. I mean, he's leaning towards. We have diabetes in the family, and Dad's trying to stay away from all the sugary stuff. So it's tough to buy him treats these days. He's not there. He's not there, but he's kind of right on the line. So we
can't really show up with a veggie tray and expect a high five, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, look, everybody loves a good carrot stick, but is it high five?
If it were good pickles and olives, we might get the high five.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
A nice antipasto.
Hey, Hank Perry brings up Captain Caveman. Was there ever an origin for that guy? Like, where the hell did he come from?
Yeah, it was in the beginning of the show. They found him frozen in a cave. That's the origin.
I mean, there was no explanation as to why he's a caveman superhero.
Right? Yeah. Who cares? Who cares? Anyways, what do you say we roll into community calendar?
Oh, let's.
I gotta find my community calendar openings.
Make it so.
There's 46 of them on the board here. 40, literally 25. But anyways.
They're using the MacGuffin device.
Thank you guys for the lemonades. I'm so thirsty.
Well, I don't know if we could stand for that.
Holy smokes.
That's right. That's Phil turning our show into the twisted version of articulated points using the MacGuffin device. That clip, by the way, equally as long as the socks clip. Same length. But if you have shows that you want in community calendar, be sure to send them to that email address that's on the screen there, whatsonjoemind@gmail.com. Really anything you have for our program, be it post-sock questions, you got some customs you want to share, you got some, we'll take anything. We're a community show first and foremost. So if you have something you'd like to share with us, and it's something that we can share in a PG-13 rated environment, by all means, send it on to us, whatsonjoemind@gmail.com. Right. I had to get the film rating in there, didn't I? Because I know as soon as I start saying, just send us anything, I'm gonna regret that in about 4 minutes.
Right. Remember the point of episode 289 where Mike essentially said send nudes? That was awesome. And you guys should be ashamed of yourselves.
Tasteful nudes. Tasteful nudes. Anyways. Oh shoot. I it failed to load the thing. So Mark, fill for time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If only Phil was here, we'd have him fill for time. But hey, there's a bridge in Rhode Island that goes from Providence to where I live, and it broke.
Oh God.
So nobody was hurt. They were just like inspecting it, I guess, and went, "Oh, this is structurally unsound and probably always has been." So we're going to shut it down for target 3 months or so. So today, kids were like 3 hours late for school.
Shit.
We had a teacher leave it. We cut school early so kids could try to get home on time. We had a teacher leave at 2:15 and not be home yet at 6:30. Right? Like traffic is just a nightmare. So we're really putting the island in Rhode Island right now. And I'm just going to stay here in Barrington and not go anywhere.
Right. Unless a helicopter.
It's bad, man. Look it up. It's out there. Providence Bridge nightmare.
So what you're saying is they needed to take the 5.
Pretty much. Yeah. Or the 101. Because the one, what is it? It's a 195. It's jammed.
It's jammed.
The stupid bridge. Yeah.
AbsorbVids advises he has a community calendar special ready to go.
Be afraid.
There is a compilation out there that I am ready to go with. Now that we have debuted all of the intros through the MacGuffin, through Act 1 of the MacGuffin device saga. We got them out there. We got them ready.
Dude, I got a call ahead of clairvoyance from the future, like 5 years from now, when people start talking about how community calendar used to be great before AbsorbVids left and Deke took it over. And now it's awful.
I dare say that I challenge Deke to get under AbsorbVids price on those. I challenge them.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
And
stay tuned next week when new creative director Jean Chalapon takes over.
And really, that's just my naked attempt to try and scrounge some money out of Deke.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they owe me after watching their show.
Do they owe all of us? I do believe.
Right. They owe me. Owe me. Anyways, first up, the Springfield Toy and Comic Show. That's happening this weekend on December 16th. That is out at the Clark County Fairgrounds from 8 to 4. $5 gets you in the door. $10 gets you in at 8 o'clock. That's early bird. 12 and under kids are free. Again, 12 is like the worst age to just bring a kid in.
Mm-hmm.
They get all sassy and there's no control on there.
They'd have to be free.
Yeah, I wouldn't pay for a 12-year-old kid.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's no good. Anyways, that is out in Springfield, Ohio. Our good friends at Roma Collectibles, they're at that show, so be sure to visit them if you go by. The Springfield Toy and Comic Show is not a small show, so I would advise you, if you're looking for something to do this weekend and you're somewhere in the southern and central Ohio area, just get yourself out there. It's worth your time.
Everybody gets a free punch from Superman, apparently.
Yes. Diana Davis says that Superman's arm is upside down. I'd say no, that's just Bruce Timm. But yeah, good stuff. Hourly door prizes. Just show up and they'll give you stuff. It's pretty neat. Good times. Rob, your thoughts on the Springfield Toy and Comic Show?
I'm still trying to figure out a way to go through there and not have to be forced to take a free 12-year-old.
Don't you have one at school you could just borrow? You have to buy one.
No, I don't.
It's high school. They're way past 12.
Get a short one. Come here, kid. Road trip.
Anyways. And then we've also got coming in January, G.I. Joe Winterfest 4. And you'll notice that is not at the popular KYGI Joe website. They got their own site for Winterfest now, GIJoeWinterfest.com. But that is out at the Paraquet Spriggs Conference Center in Shepherdsville, Kentucky. 10 to 4, that is next on January 27th. I figured I'd put that out there now because we're going to lose track of it.
Yeah.
Between with Christmas and New Year's and all that other stuff. We like might as well start getting the January shows worked into the docket $8 gets you in at 10 o'clock. Early birds at 9 o'clock. That's going to cost you 15. There is a Friday night preview that you can get for $30. That is 5 to 8 Friday night on the 26th. And then it also pays for early bird the following day.
Oh,
So you're going to
double
be in
the early bird.
Right. If you're going to be in Shepherdsville for the Winterfest, an extra day, by all means, get yourself in on that Friday night preview.
Do you think we shamed them away from the old KY web address?
No, because they're still there for their summer.
Oh, okay.
They wanted to take a stand, but not have us ruin 2 shows.
Well,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
I hate to feel responsible for that, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I know those guys. They're good guys. I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want to wreck their show. I'm not making fun, but
Yeah,
you can't deny that KYGI Joe isn't a hilarious title
Yeah.
for a while.
but I'd feel bad if we forced them to move off it. I mean, that'd be kind of rough.
I mean, all that would say is that it would be there for us to park on and probably slide right off.
Oh, there we go.
Cheapest big spender says no free parking or free kids. I don't know. I honestly, it's not on the site, or not that I checked. Again, this thing's over a month out, so I didn't look too close at the details just yet.
I'm going to guess that you have to pay to park, but they do give you a free kid as you leave.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Diana Davis says KYGI Joe is the slickest around.
There we go.
Phil Donnelly, this is a slippery slope, gentlemen.
Right?
And I agree.
good to know we don't even have to do it anymore. It's just
Come get their Renegades exclusive Raw Dog. Wait. Oh, moving on.
We are a community program.
We're here to help.
No, Andrew Garrison says free parking.
Andrew Garrison knows this is a show that happens in Indiana, Ohio, or Kentucky. Andrew Garrison is our expert, qualified expert. Primary military specialty, toy shows. Secondary military specialty, infantry, because that's what everybody's secondary was. But anyhow, that's all we got on the calendar.
That's it.
That's it. Just the 2. Look, we got so much news. We don't need to be spending any more time on community calendar than we already have. So yeah, I'm gonna hit the thing. Community calendar. It's us getting our comeuppance from Clawful.
From Clawful, right? Doesn't even have knees.
Yeah.
Well, if it's an Origins one, it does.
He's got a big claw, though.
Yeah.
Anyways. I'm trying to run through some of the newer ones again so that when we disappear for a couple of weeks, people don't lose the plot.
Seems fair.
Our
Right.
mid-season hiatus.
Right. We don't want people to lose the plot on our segment intros. But Matt Rubin notes that Clawful's greatest fear is a vat of melted butter. It's certainly not the honcho with a night raven bullet in his back. That's for sure.
That's right. Fair enough.
Picked you up and threw you so hard it knocked the rest of us out.
I mean, wouldn't I have that in my utility belt?
Probably.
That's a good point. Right by the shark repellent.
Yeah.
It's time for the news. You gotta pay attention to the cues, Rob. I can't. I already hit the button. I can't help you out if I've already hit the button. And our first news item.
Do.
Yeah, it's not a good one.
Yeah.
We are leading off because we want to end better than we start. With this broke yesterday, Hasbro cutting 1,100 jobs after sluggish toy sales persist into the holidays. CEO Chris Cox says challenging conditions expected to stretch into next year, prompting another round of layoffs. you can see the link to this article in our comments down below, in our description down below, rather. And that is out of the Wall Street Journal, and it's been covered in any number of other places. I'm sure there's a good 100 of them at this point, but this is the first one that I saw. And so, Mark Weber, you've been cut by Hasbro with your sluggish toy sales.
Let's go into our Hasbro layoff expert.
Right. Our has-been expert.
Yeah.
That's the official title. That's not me passing judgment.
Yeah. I got to, you know what?
Before we get started, Cheapest Big Spender says, Mike said Cox.
Yeah.
And yeah. Anyways. Yeah, not good. 1100. You broke some news related to this just a few minutes ago, Mark. Your friend, the former head of global publishing, Michael Kelly, was among those laid off today. So of course our best wishes go to him as he searches for his next professional stop, and our condolences on the loss here. But it's amazing. I mean, how many folks how many jobs have they terminated just in the last 3 years? Every time it's 1,000 or it's 800.
Yeah.
Or this time it's 1,100. I mean, didn't people used to work for this company?
Right? Like it used to be an actively sought out destination, right? Now you've got, people just hoping that the excellent work they've been doing over the years won't be forgotten. And I don't know, I don't know their inside business. And obviously if they needed to cut jobs, but there's so many different mixed emotions, not even mixed emotions, but different feelings about this. There was a layoff at McFarlane Toys, a huge one in 2008 when every company was struggling. And it came out right before Christmas. But everyone was given severance. Even if you were brand new, there were weeks of severance attached to it. So, you know, that one didn't feel as personal because everybody was getting laid off in 2008. And at the time, I remember us going, that's a pretty cheap dagger to deliver right before Christmas. But in retrospect, sometimes around Christmas, you're making large purchase decisions and that kind of thing. And it probably was better to learn in early December than first week of January. So there is some of that out there. But, I mean, it's 6 days after their global day of joy, right? Where they all work together to do charitable stuff, and it's the best day of the year. And then, the made men all post about it and how great it is and how nice it is to have the Hasbro community together, giving back to the greater community. And there's no way to spin this, especially with a guy like Michael Kelly, one of my favorite people there, a great guy to work with, to work for. Just kind of the keeper of the flame as far as the story, as far as the lineage, the canon of Transformers and G.I. Joe, and lots of other Hasbro properties. That's just what I worked with him on during my time there, and a guy that I've stayed in contact with since I left. And stand-up guy, brilliant talent. And so when you see someone like that get cut, you're like, okay, this is dreadful. Because it means one of either two things. Either it's the reality is so bad that they're cutting brilliant talent that they should never consider losing, or that they don't understand the value. And I don't mean that as, he's not making enough money for his skills, right? Not value like that, but value as in this is the kind of guy, if you were making a toy company, you'd want a Michael Kelly running your publishing department. He's brilliant. And so they either didn't know that or couldn't afford to keep that. Either way, that's damning criticism of what's going on at Hasbro right now. Just the worst. And he's a good friend and a great guy. So I don't even worry about what Mike's going to do that. But he certainly, and I'm sure there's a ton more just like him that I didn't work with, but he certainly didn't ever deserve a rug pull like he got this morning. So
Yeah, and that's really what it was. From your contacts at the company market, they received a message that said, hey,
yeah,
this thing, and you're going to get notice in 48 hours. And
I think it was 24. It was like, it's going to be over. We'll get everything done pretty quick. Most of them are working from home, regardless. So now you're just sitting, waiting by the computer, right, to see when the message or the phone call is going to happen. And they're closing the big Providence office that they moved into, I don't know, 8 years ago. Everybody's going back to Pawtucket, which they were rumored to be wanting to get out of, God, 10 years ago, right? But now everybody fits in there, so it works. But it's nothing but a bad day. It's a rotten day, and I'm for those who continue to be employed. Happy for you. That includes everyone's favorite Lenny is fine, but this is a rotten day, and there's been too many rotten days for it not to be reflective of upper management as well.
Yeah, I wonder if this is just a move being made by the new leadership. He's been in place now for what, since Brian Goldner died. That was a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
How much of that is trying to undo some of the missteps from that group? And I understand that. Like, if that's not if the entertainment direction isn't the way you want to go anymore, I understand you have to refit, and not everybody's necessarily going to fit in your new paradigm. But at the same time, this smacks of, well, let's just cut off what we can, and then we'll rebuild as we get bigger again. And it shows a lack of faith in the people you've got under your umbrella, right? Like, why can't you try and refit some of these folks into some of these new roles, because you've already invested the time and the effort in keeping them?
Yeah. The rumored salary for the CEO is 9 point something million, right? If I really wanted, that my era at Hasbro to be big, maybe I'd give some of that salary back for a year or two, right? Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I would take a salary cut as the CEO to keep a Michael Kelly on my staff, right? Because it ain't easy to lure top flight talent to Rhode Island, of all places, right? So keep the stars you have, absolutely. And I don't know, just seems incredibly short-sighted.
Steve Young, former quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers, asked, do we know about Lenny, Emily, and Tony? Well, Mark has spoken to Lenny personally, so we know he is fine.
Yeah, and Tony as well. Lenny and Tony are fine. I don't know about Emily. I don't have any contact with or for her. So,
so don't.
She seems to be running so many other brands there. I mean, because they've been letting other people go.
Yeah,
it would be surprising, but we just don't. We don't have that personal line to her, so don't take that as a negative.
Don't read anything into that. I don't know her. I've never met her. And no offense, right? But she's a relatively new hire at a younger brand manager. So probably not making a ton of salary. If they got rid of her, they just have to replace her with somebody like her. So I would assume those kinds of people are actually some of the safest people at the big age. But I don't know anything other than Tony, Lenny are fine, and they're great guys. And they, a couple of years ago for Halloween, they were the Road Warriors together, Hawk and Animal, which is pretty solid, right? You got to be in it to win it, to cut the hair and go shirtless with spiked shoulder pads for Halloween. So
you got shoulder pads for modesty, so it's okay.
How you gonna cut the Legion of Doom, right? Like, good luck getting them out of the building. If they ever came for Lenny and Tony, I guarantee you one person's taking the Doomsday device before they get them out.
The Doomsday device. Fantastic. But yeah, and I, you said that everything was bad in 2008. Things aren't necessarily great here either. Like, just normal people are getting priced out of everything, from gasoline to groceries to luxury items like toys, and it's always those businesses that feel the pinch on that first, and often worst. So it's not good in any direction. I could get on a whole soapbox here, but I'm going to refrain from that. Just know that our thoughts are with the folks who were let go today. We appreciate everything you've done for us and our hobbies, and good luck going forward. It's tough out there. I mean, I speaking as somebody who has a job, it's a pretty crummy one, so it's still tough anyway. Like finding something is one thing, finding something you're actually happy with is something else entirely. So there's a lot of that out there, and it's tough to navigate.
Our next news item will be Hasbro CEO visited by 3 spirits.
Right? maybe just the last one. Who knows?
But he fired that one.
Oh, that's right.
Right?
They called him in, said, "Look, your clinking chains are starting to bother the finance department."
The only one he kept was the Ghost of Christmas Past. That's funny how that works.
Yeah.
Anyways. But yeah, as Cheapest Big Spender says, Merry Christmas from Hasbro. It's a pink slip.
I'm assuming sales are tough for Mattel as well.
Right. It look,
they let anybody go?
Sales are tough, period, right? And Mattel not long ago did have a pretty massive layoff. We didn't cover it here because why would we? But yeah, it's just, like the toy business is just not in good shape right now.
We are obviously a lot closer to the Hasbro pulse, so to speak, but Mattel doesn't have the rep, right, of just waiting for their next giant layoff, right? They had one that I remember, but I don't think it's been a kind of a regular swing of that axe back and forth over the last several years. Like,
right, but
it feels like it's been out here.
Yeah, we've seen Mattel do the same. We've seen Super 7 do the same, and they're not a company anywhere close to this size. Toys are a tough sell right now, and so yeah, part of this is just to be expected. Like there's other things that have to be fixed before Hasbro can get fixed, because at the end of the day, they have to sell more product to keep people employed, and the folks don't have the money for those products right now.
It's funny how.
Oh, Mark froze.
No, he did.
He froze, and his still image looks like he's taking a light nap.
Yeah. He fell asleep in the chair, just like at Des's wedding.
Right. Oh. Right. Tony Renteria says Hasbro froze him.
Yeah. Dude, I had a circle going for about 30 seconds. It was pretty exciting.
Like I was telling Rob and the folks at home, the image that was up there, you just looked like you're taking a gentle nap. I was like,
it's the only way to nap, baby.
It was like I imagined 2:00 in the Oval Office.
Oh, well, if they didn't hear what I said, it's amazing how a strong fiscal performance from one of your tentpole properties theatrically can help a toy company stay solvent.
Right. Yeah. Right. Even there, though, like Barbie was all in the cultural zeitgeist for a couple of months there, and it didn't necessarily help them sell a whole lot more dolls. Like it helped, but like that bubble's already burst, like it's already done. So it's a rough time to try and sell any kind of luxury item, especially toys.
I mean, I think we'll see the final word on that. I mean, after December, I think. But I think you're right. I don't know that it really pumped, a lot of things into. It seemed to be all the people who grew up playing with Barbie who went to that movie were raving about it, as opposed to, anybody wanting to go see, anyone who would be in the Barbie age right now.
Right.
And I think that's what it was aimed for.
You think Mattel will have any trouble getting Barbie 2 greenlit?
No.
Oh no.
Off it goes.
But I mean, again, it is Warner Brothers, so they may shoot the whole thing and then decide to write it off for the taxes.
That's true.
Right. Don't trust it till it's actually in theaters, Mark.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Jake Rose asks, so Hasbro is using Kirkman to keep IP alive? Well, yeah. That's about the only way some of that stuff is keeping alive. When was the last time we've seen so many of the Joes from the 80s and 90s? It was the comic book.
Only now they won't have Michael Kelly guiding the accepted narrative.
Right.
And I think the world of Robert Kirkman, right? But I would think even more of Robert Kirkman if I knew Michael Kelly was approving the general direction of the stories.
Okay. Next news item. I know you're excited to get off of that one, Mark.
Get away from this. We'll come back to it in 10 months.
Right. Well, or probably 10 minutes. But anyways, next news item isn't any good either.
Come on.
As the Super 7 Cobra mothership did not fund, as I guess it's really not terribly surprising considering where the pledge numbers were over the middle part of that campaign. Once it did not it really didn't have a great start. And once that didn't happen, that momentum just never caught on. On top of it, I will maintain this, and it's hardly a hot take. This is just too big of an ask for A, being the holiday shopping season, B, things being acknowledged terrible for most folks in middle class and lower in regards to spending money. It's just there were some big check marks going against this one, and unfortunately the fact that it looked cool and filled a niche that many of us would like to see filled, just those weren't big enough check marks. So again, Mark, you're the guy from inside the toy business. Give us your thoughts here.
I'm also the one in the 1661 there. So, but it wasn't.
They're not over 1660.
Yeah, absolutely wasn't just a check off. Yep, I'm in, love it. Like a lot of Joe products are, right? Like I collect G.I. Joe. If it's cool, it's coming out, I'm in. Yeah, I had to think about this and think about what I'm gonna sell, to pay myself back essentially. For how much, and had this on a payment plan. I've never done that with a toy before, but man, coming up with 600 bones in December up front, that wasn't going to happen. So
right,
I like it. I really want to believe that play sets are still viable on some level, because I think in your heart of hearts, if you collect that scale, everybody would like to have this, but how do you get from like to have it to entering the credit card number, right? Like wrong time of year, just not enough sizzle. Not really having stretch goals that were exciting along the way. Not that they would have even hit them, but it just felt like this thing only had sizzle right at launch. And after that, it was just slowly losing momentum.
Yeah, and I just think folks saw that price tag and immediately, it looks great, but
yeah, I think this was in a year that had a lot of big asks for toy collectors. I think this was the bridge too far.
Mm-hmm.
This was the point of oversaturation in the market. It's just like, nope.
Right, and it's one of those where we can kind of wash our hands of it. But like Brian said on the Hooded Cobra Commander live stream right before ours, we have a link to it down below. Be sure to catch them next Tuesday before our show. It sucks because it's still a loss for G.I. Joe, right?
Yeah.
Like it unfortunately, even though this isn't a mainstream line, it's kind of a fringe line with reaction. It makes G.I. Joe look weak. Makes it look, as not representing well. Porrick Boylan has some advice for you, Mark, and welcome to the show, Porrick. Don't sell the cat.
Which cat?
You're the only one with the cat, so.
Oh, Colin?
Yeah.
Now, well, who's gonna temperamental cat with 14 claws needs new home? Like, come on.
14 front claws.
Yeah, I want you to come over, Mike, and play with my cat like that. Get your hand in there, get your foot in there, push him around a little bit.
There's a reason why I've got shoes on, Mark. It's because
shoes.
Yeah, you know.
Are they made of vibranium?
Vulcanized rubber. Just sink them in there and stick there.
He's gonna have to get like Wolverines or some kind of heavy work boot.
The trick isn't not letting them cut. It's not letting them cut too deep.
Okay, I'll give you that.
But I mean,
and the pampered brute, I think, has been declawed in the front though too, hasn't he?
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yes.
Most cats purr. My cat snicks. So be careful with him.
He's the best there is at what he does.
That's it.
But I mean, to give a little bit of perspective, in the last 2 years, we've ponied up for a H.I.S. tank and a Dragonfly for classified scale. And if you took the cost of both of those projects and put them together, you're still paying less than one Cobra mothership with shipping.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just a huge ask, especially right on the heels of that Dragonfly campaign. That was the big purchase for most folks in G.I. Joe this year, and you can't, like, this may have worked had they done it in the spring, because again, everybody gets their tax money then, their refunds, and that's the time of year when people have $600 to put towards something dumb. So and again, not, you get what I'm saying by dumb, right? Non-essential. So not dumb design wise, because I dug the Cobra mothership, but there was no way we were getting it into this apartment.
No.
And but yeah,
you're 1,000% right on this though, Mike. No one should have been rooting for it to fail, right?
Right.
Anything that hurts the brand, dig it, hurts the brand. I remember when Sigma 6 came out, I looked at him and went, kind of cool, not my jam. And on some level, as an adult collector, sometimes you're like, I don't need that, right? Oh, I get a break for a year or 2 or 3 or whatever. So I was happy that I didn't need Sigma 6, but I wasn't mad that it existed. And I didn't root for it to fail. And I always checked it in the aisle. I just knew, it's not my thing. Now, if the second scale had been 3 3/4, it probably would have got me.
Right. I'd have some Sigma 6 at that point.
Yeah, but 2.5 that nobody wants. Guess what? Nobody wants.
We'll take a couple of questions here. David Warren Hernandez asks, the bigger question is, are Joe fans ready to buy $20 O-rings? I think collectors have moved on to 6 inches. So might be a harbinger for the Super 7 O-ring line failing. I don't think so. I think $20 for reaction, to you and me, that might seem crazy, but they're on wave 7 of reaction at this point. Like, people are buying them. It's not necessarily dyed-in-the-wool hardcore Joe fans, but people who just want something silly for their desk, or, there's a lot of casual pickup on those. And the $20 price point doesn't seem to be hurting it that bad. So if they can find a way to keep that O-ring at $20, that's not going to be a problem at all. That's Super 7, again, small company, but $20 seems to be the cost of doing business at this point.
I mean, just on the, I think it's the price of the mothership, not the scale. In terms of the figure scale, I should say. If you're collecting the classified line, that line doubled in size just this year compared to the first 3 years of its existence, where we had about like 50 figures total. Well, now we're into 100 numbered figures.
Yeah.
Plus vehicles.
Just at the start of this year to the end. I was tracking that because we're putting something together. And So there was an obscene amount of actual Hasbro G.I. Joe product, and people are out of money.
I'm ready for that to scale back a little bit too. As much as I love a lot of what they're doing with classified, that was a lot of classified this year.
Yeah,
that's too much classified almost.
We're approaching Marvel Legends numbers here. I can't keep up with that.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm looking at something that I don't want, the Tiger Force Flint, right? I don't like Tiger Force, never did. I don't need it, right? No, I guess that's the difference. I kind of need it, but I don't want it. And so it's the first one that I haven't, but just haven't brought myself to pull the trigger on, other than an occasional Python Patrol thing, right? I'm just like, I don't want to have to fight for something I never really wanted. I didn't like Python Patrol originally, so
it's not going to suddenly turn on you here.
no, and I get why they're making it. I'm not disputing the value of a cheap repaint, right? That'll sell enough and off you go. But I don't know. Maybe I don't need everything, right? So
right. Firefly asks, do you think the O-ring announcement hurt the mothership because people stopped speculating on the O-rings being contingent on the mothership?
Nah.
No. I honestly, it looked like the Cobra mothership was already dead in the water at that point. So
yeah,
I think that the O-ring announcement made everybody breathe a little easier because it's like, oh hey, we're not the O-rings aren't contingent on this anymore. Thank goodness. I still don't have the money or the space for this. So I don't think it changed a whole lot. Tristan McDonald says, my cat walks around muttering to himself.
I'm starting to do that.
Most cats judge you silently, but apparently he's found his voice.
Figure Six Pack says Cobra Mothership equals Crystal Pepsi. I say no. People like the Mothership. They just couldn't afford it. Crystal Pepsi was cheap and terrible.
But Pepsi free. Oh.
Well, I mean, what is that? Pepsi with no caffeine?
I forget. Yeah, I think that's it. Whatever.
Yeah, it was the caffeine-free Pepsi.
Yeah, they have caffeine-free Pepsi now, but they don't call it Pepsi free.
I like bringing a 2-liter of Pepsi free up to the register and having the guy go, it's $1.99. I go, what? So much bullshit.
Classified Big Spender says Hasbro tested the water with the O-ring Sky Striker figures. With the success of Classified, they will kill off the O-rings. Nah, I don't think so.
I would say Hasbro tested the waters with their actual O-ring 2-packs, right?
Right.
And I don't know how well they sold, but other than not knowing which Cobra guy should be have the AK-47.
Well, I mean,
good, right?
Getting out of the detail work, I would say that the problem with that line, I think, is that it never really, it didn't light everybody's fire because it was really unoriginal. Like the Sky Striker project was great. You're taking the Sky Striker, you're making an ultimate version of it, if you will. You're giving us some figures that we hadn't seen before. With you got Night Force Ripcord, and you got Pilot Scarlet, and you got the runway crew for Cobra. Like there's some different stuff going on there. You got, of course, Failsafe, who had never been made before. There's some originality going into the Sky Striker. Past that, well, I mean, the Stinger was a nice throw simply because retro Stingers are far too expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, what was there? It just redos of some figures that came with Transformers. None of them are really any different except for the last two. Zartan and Zarana are different. So I can actually understand if you wanted that one for those figures and only those figures. But like that Baroness that came with Megatron is not good.
Neither is Megatron.
Yeah, Stalker that came with Bumblebee is not terribly different than the original Stalker. What's the other one? Who am I missing?
That's it. It's those two, and then the Soundwave and Zartan and Zarana.
All right. Oh, right. I was sorry. My head, Triple T and Sarge with
yeah, it's cubbing, so we don't know what that looks like.
I haven't seen any pictures of that yet, so it's tough to say there. But again, we've seen some projects from friends of ours for Call Sign Longbow. What was the one that came that the figures are starting to show up now? Strike Force Alpha.
Mm-hmm.
And
Eagle Force
Recall.
Right, Eagle Force, Operation Recall. Like the O-ring folks are making their buying power known. They're buying O-ring figures. There's a market there. So killing O-rings, no. I think that Hasbro decided that right now they want to do one line of GI Joes and they can farm out the rest of the work and just collect money there.
And Super 7 has made some smart picks in their reaction line, right? If they show that same kind of ESP, basically, into the collector mindset and what's missing for an O-ring collector, and we get Dr. Venom and Sparks and Blue Sunbow Breaker and maybe an OG Zap with an actual mustache, right?
Yeah.
Like there's something there. I think it may not be massive.
You would get. I mean, like I might be in on some of those. So.
Yeah, exactly. And a troop builder, right? If they just made a Cobra soldier, right? But he looked good, and he came with a Dark Dragon of rifle. Like, yeah, $20. Some of them are gonna move.
Right. Even if you do that cheapo Sunbow style of Cobra Trooper, where it's just the blue jammies with the laser rifle, make that guy. Go for it. That's not something that we've seen.
There's a whole host of Joe fans who looked at that guy as a reaction figure and thought about it for just a second, right? For the ones who didn't buy it, who were like, oh, I'd like to, but nah, I can't go there. If that's an O-ring figure for the same price, that's going in the for a chunk of them. That's going in the cart. Whereas before they probably touched it with their hand, but it never actually got off the peg. Now there's a chunk of them. I would garner to say maybe half of those undecideds are putting it in the cart now that it's O-ring. I think you'll see something there. And I have faith in Super 7 in at least picking interesting options, right? I don't think they're going to, wave 1 is not going to be Scarlet Duke, Cobra Commander, Destro, right? I don't think that's what you're going to see. I think you're going to see they know where to mine, essentially, because they know their collector is you and me. It's the adult G.I. Joe fan.
Right. Or at least not right away. Anyways, if you're joining us tonight, thank you so much. If you're catching us on Facebook, be sure to give us some kind of a reaction, give us a thumbs up, give us a heart, give us a little huggy guy. If you're catching us at home on YouTube, go ahead, like the video, subscribe to the channel, do all those cool YouTube things. Leave us some notes down below in the comments. What O-ring figures you'd like to see from Super 7, your thoughts on the Super 7 Mothership campaign, your thoughts on what's going on at Hasbro or anything else. By all means, leave us a comment down below. Because again, we'll grow this channel as much as you want us to grow. That's up to you guys. It's all about interaction. There's so little I can do about it that it's incredibly frustrating. Hooded Cobra Commander 788 says, "Hi, I'm watching. I have you on the TV, so I'm not in the chat other than this message."
We had you on our TV.
Right. So, Rob, go ahead. Give us the number one reason why you don't like Brian.
Ooh.
But I do like Brian.
Well, there you go. It was your free shot, and he still didn't take it. So we must think he's okay.
Hey, he and I, we're like this on the design for the H.I.S. Tactician. I'm just saying. Some of us were correct, and the rest of us were Mike.
You are both allowed to be wrong. Yeah, be sure to join it. Brian will be with us next week for our big holiday spectacular. He's going to put in the yeoman shift and do his show, and then our show. I have not received an invitation to do his show with him. I would be willing to do that, but he has not asked. So what can I tell you?
Boy, it sounded like fishing.
Road trip. You'll do it live.
Right. I mean, if we're going to do 3 hours, let's do 3 hours.
Yeah. Coming up soon, the GI Radiothon. It's going to be amazing.
Right.
We're raising money for the Human Fund.
Money for people.
Oh. Sorry, I'm going through.
Festivus is a Saturday this year. Big fun.
By the way, not to pad the ego at all, but Mike, I dug this image like crazy when I first saw it today. I'm like, oh,
it was harsh, but there, it was just stuck in my head, and I had to go.
I mean, the joke writes itself, except it does require a little bit of work, but it's so appropriate to this, right? And it was like a sudden crash. It was like you're just watching it as the weeks go by. Yeah, pretty soon.
The life of the Super 7 campaign very much mirrored the opening to season 1 of G.I. Joe American Hero. It's on there for like 20 seconds, and ultimately it crashes and burns, and only a couple of people are able to run out of the wreckage.
That's it. Jason Rose has 2 posts in a row that mean 2 totally different things.
Save Hasbro telephone.
Yeah, but
Only if
above,
we get to have Destro do stand-up comedy.
right? But above the first attempt, it says the Dave Hasbro telethon, and I'm like, who the hell is Dave Hasbro?
I don't know, but hey, I'm willing to get behind it if we have Destro doing stand-up comedy.
You know, Dave Hasbro, that guy.
Yeah, that guy's a jerk. He's letting his employees go.
Oh, goodness. Sorry, I'm going through some of the. But okay, here it was. Firefly said in the Super 7 interview with Matthew from JoeCon, I don't know what that is, but Brian Flynn said that they are going for the O-rings to look as close as possible to year 4 of G.I. Joe on a shelf with rivets and all. Yeah, no, we caught that.
Mhm.
Well, again, hopefully they'll be able to pull it off and maintain the price point that they hope to pull off. I have my doubts, but if they can get that out for $20, great. I'm in for some. Jeff Butler says an O-ring, a figure of Sparks will definitely sell. When they make the right figures, the $20 cost won't be prohibitive.
Exactly.
Again, let's just hope that it's $20. Look, hey, right there, that's all the credit I need right there. It was a great a man who knows how to if I can make him laugh with visuals, then I know that I've done a good job. Anyways, next news item. Hey, look, we're finally into the better news.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't even the good news yet. This is just better than things absolutely failing. But we've got a brand new figure from Hiya Toys again, pumping them out like they're Hasbro in '83 or something. This is Gung Ho from the 1/18th Exquisite line. You see there, we got the action shot, then we got the still pose, and then here's all of that. He's about $25. You'll probably pay a couple of dollars more because it is an import. Available next summer. That tattoo is still bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're at the point with Gung Ho. Like, I don't have any real problems with this figure except for the tattoo. And let me just say, I understood the tattoo back when Classified first came out. I got it at that point because you don't know, maybe they had it planned and they just couldn't get it changed in time to something that was more doable. But now we're following up the bad eagle tattoo from Classified with the same tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you just needed to redesign Gung Ho a little bit to maybe he's got the t-shirt.
Gung Ho needs a t-shirt at this point, yeah. If they can't get the Marine Corps tattoo, just get a t-shirt.
That's
says
how
like Marine.
That's how I would have solved it. If we couldn't have gotten the Marine Corps tattoo, I would have done a shirt and I would have done the hint of the tattoo sticking up over the top.
Right.
Because they can't sue you for a beak.
Right.
Yeah, an eagle head. Yeah.
Yeah, and people would be like, okay, he's got a tattoo, he's just wearing a shirt. Maybe he put on a few pounds. Who knows? But
maybe it's cold.
Yeah, or even I know it's borderline sacrilege, but if you made the vest closed, nobody would care, right? He'd still look like a badass. And I know that's not how he looked originally, but along those veins, and I think this is a really good figure and a really good line. The blue throws me here. And I know it's accurate to the OG, but if that was more military drab to go with, the rest of the military stuff he's wearing, I think it'd look better. I don't know.
I kind of dig this. I like that it's different. At least there's some attempt to differentiate this from every other Gung Ho that's come along, since 1983. Every time they revisit this character, it's always, crazy Gyrene from 1983. And I, like, if there was ever a character in G.I. Joe that just badly needed a redesign, Gung Ho's the guy, right?
Yep.
Like he's one of the very few that has aged poorly. Go back to the design I like the best is the Resolute design for Gung Ho.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the few characters in Resolute that I feel they handled very well, in that he was businesslike and he was competent and he was still gung ho, but like he was a guy who you understand. Oh yeah, that's a master sergeant at work right there.
Right.
That's a guy who's a field leader on an elite team like GI Joe, getting shit done.
Yeah.
And you didn't get that feel from gung ho very often, so I liked it there, and I liked the design that they had him with. But
maybe Classified considered it a redesign when they went, let's go with a vaguely Aryan tattoo and put an army hat on him.
right.
It'll all be new. It'll be great.
Dustin Jeffrey says $5 says those guns fall off just as easily as the Classified version. I don't know if it's possible.
Yeah.
But
I looked at them funny. There they go.
Yeah, we got those three kind of iffy guns. Got a spare pair of hands. We got the big backpack to theoretically hold them all, and a battle stand. And again, it probably yours for less than $30, we'll say, if you're into Hiya toys and exquisite. But Mark, you're in except for the blue vest.
Yeah, I'm in, and this is my my next do I jump or don't I? Because I have the Snake Eyes, but that's the only one I have so far. Now that Cotswold Collectibles has them here domestically, so the shipping won't murder me. That might be, if I happen to get any cash for Christmas, that might be where it goes. The dive in to backfill in the holes in my Hiya Toys collection. I really do think they're doing excellent work.
Yeah,
have some design differences, things I would have done differently.
Yeah, I out of what they've put out, this is probably my least favorite. Not counting that not very good at all Tiger Force Flint, but that's at least just a repaint, so I can whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and as far as what they've designed and built and put out, this is the worst one. But
it's still tolerable. So
I guess it just seems like they made the same mistakes Classified did over again.
Yeah, that's fair.
The
hat. They fixed the hat.
Did they?
Kinda.
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, I think it's still an army lid. It just sticks up a little more. That's what do you think?
It's fine. I mean, I'm not in on the Hiya stuff, so
yeah.
But it doesn't offend me in any way. I wish it will.
I haven't even thought. I haven't even bought the Beachhead one yet, and I probably should get on that.
Oof.
But Jeff Butler asks, any thoughts on Gung Ho Marine Dress Blues would ever become a Classified figure, or was the 90s Hall of Fame 12-inch figure enough for that? As cool as that figure was, both in 3 3/4 and 12-inch forms, it's like it's a little static for an action line, right? Like as a kid, I remember I was like Marine Blues, Dress Blues Gung Ho was cool to look at, but I didn't really ever have the incentive to buy it.
Yeah,
he's never going to be in that uniform in any kind of situation, right?
Hey, we love it.
Did that figure even show up on the cart, the box art for vehicles or anything? Was he even sitting passenger in a vehicle? I don't think so.
No, because imagine how weird he would look. And I like the figure. Right. I'm glad they did it. But how weird would he look like in one of the gunner turrets of the Whale, right? Like they just swung by graduation to pick up a Marine to go shoot at Cobra. Hey, you're in your dress blues. That don't matter. Hop in.
You're good.
Andrew Gaga's got a comment that I think might work down there. But
Dress Blues Gung Ho is an exclusive to some store or convention somewhere. There's too many different parts. I don't know about that. It's not like you can just repaint it. It's not like you're doing gaucho.
Mm-mm. I mean, if you made the diaper big enough, you could reuse it for Footloose, I guess.
Stop. That's it. That's enough. That's enough.
It's not bad. It's not bannable, but it's close.
One of the best figures of the vintage line, and I'll not have you slander it. And he was dry on the battlefield.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, it's oops, I crap my pants.
You stop. You stop. Next news item.
You can always depends on Footloose.
That's what he's going for. Look, am I maddened by that? No, I'm not mad at him, but that's what he wanted. So that's what I'm just gonna give it to him, because otherwise he'll never move on. He's I can
He's
see
gonna
him on
come
my.
back with one. Come on.
He's in his little window doing this.
Of course he is.
See, he is a habitual line stepper.
A recidivist.
So yeah, the last couple of days have been rough enough news-wise that it seems hard to believe, but everything that we saw last Thursday on the Pulse live stream, it pretty well got blown out of the water. It feels like it happened a month ago at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to go through it anyway, because what else? I mean, this is the good news. This is the news we liked.
You're right about it. Seeing like saw online, I was just sitting here thinking about it. Did we go? Are we going over this next? Did we do this last week? What is?
See, Jeff Butler's giving you quotes on that one. That's not going on a T-shirt.
No, but it's not going away either. It's a thing now.
Dr. No Good asks, his tank is out. What do you think? I think
We'll get to that.
We'll catch that at the end. We do the we got in later. We got news now. We got news. Stay with us.
Mm-hmm.
Stay with us. So, anyways, let's get started. First up, of course, name reveals. And I went with the B version of all these characters. We got Starduster, we got Nemesis Immortal, we got Leatherneck. I hope they get a giraffe pants Leatherneck out there. That would be awesome.
Ooh.
And then, of course, Xander.
Right.
So
I like him better than his previous figure.
Yeah. The uniform did not look good at all.
Yeah. And what do these all have in common? You didn't see any of them in the playoffs. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good times. Sometimes I do things just to amuse myself. Michael Gene Fleming. That's the Leatherneck I had as a kid. Well,
Sorry.
Sorry about that.
Sorry about that one. Our bad.
Greg Augustin gets the joke.
But yeah, I had to go with B versions on this one because it just too good, just too good.
Yeah.
You're not going to have a whole lot of luck finding a B version on Nemesis Immortal, but Phil already gave me that picture that I've used 100 times, so I had to use it here, right?
That Starduster's not bad.
No, that's Club Starduster. That's pretty awesome. I enjoyed him. I have him from that set. One of my favorite consets. Full stop. Thanks for the memories.
Guns on the wrong hand, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Again, I'm not here to criticize the photo work of Phil Donnelly, but maybe it's not a sight. Maybe it's a rear view mirror.
Oh, that's a good idea. I never thought about that.
I don't think it was I think if you look at the old blueprints, it was would shift the you could shift the direction of the jetpack with it.
That makes no sense.
I agree.
I know.
I agree. I have. All
right, I'm gonna look it up.
That's Rob's doing deep cuts on us again, and I can't. I don't always have comments for those. But David Warren Hernandez asking what we all want to know: will Leatherneck be on a Beefy Boy body? I hope so, because he was a low key beefy boy. He was at least gung ho size.
Was he that? Did you always envision him that big?
I did, because when you saw him on Sunbow on the cartoon, he was as big as Gung Ho was. They had a couple episodes where they were both on at the same time, and they were the same height, they were the same build. So even if it was just an animation error, that's how I equated them in my head.
If that's how you see him on the cartoon as a kid,
right.
That's canon, right?
Your era of G.I. Joe, Mark, that Leatherneck that came out on the big boy body, that was great for me. I thought that was awesome. I
just thought he had a really big hat.
In 86, yeah, that 86 figure was kind of rough because the hat was just like super flared out and giant.
The 82 blueprint's unclear. They call it the control unit and they call it the site.
See, you don't know nothing.
They're doing it both ways. I don't know. They don't know.
Welcome to our new segment. Rob makes up shit.
Go look at the blueprints. I didn't make anything up.
Diana Davis notes that she demands all beefy boys. Claude is a beefy boy. Claude is her cat, by the way, for anyone just tuning in.
Hey, and didn't mention it before, but don't want to omit it. No idea what's going on inside Hasbro with the comic, but we do have Diana Davis keeping it on the straight and narrow. So we appreciate that.
Right. Thankfully she's not a Hasbro employee, so she's pretty safe.
Safe.
She's safe. She's good.
Safe yet dangerous.
Safe only from a job standpoint, I guess.
Yeah.
Matt Rubin says, I never thought Leatherneck was that bulked out. I thought he was more slender than gung ho. It's okay to be wrong. That's fine.
That was my memory of it, but I'm not sticking to it.
And you also had that episode where he went into that cadet school, and he went and his ne'er-do-well former student was the lead of the Cobra cadets, and like he was huge compared to that guy. He was throwing that guy around like he was, So I always saw Leatherneck as a big guy. You're going to be a drill sergeant for G.I. Joe, man. You're going to get the scariest looking dude you can find.
Fair enough.
You get Leatherneck.
Or Beachhead.
Yeah, but he got a
break
mask.
in the new recruits.
He had a mask on, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
He didn't have
of mystery.
He didn't have the Ron Rudat duster mustache.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You didn't have Chuck McCann on vocals.
When Beachhead took that mask off, John Stamos underneath. Yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Right. There for the ladies, but not exactly engendering fear.
Mm-mm.
Oh, so that's the name only reveals. Be sure to tell us in the comments down below which one of these guys you're looking forward to the most. I personally like Xander in his San Diego military camouflage uniform.
Yeah, that's pretty slick.
So
that'll be a real test for me. I may not buy Nemesis Immortal. No offense. I'm sure he'll be great, but.
And for the record, for everybody at home, yeah, I know it's not actually pronounced Xander, but you know, it's the joke that I'm doing for me. And so the rest of you just shut up.
Yeah.
Tony's Figs asks, what's going on, gents? Dude, I mean, we've been here like an hour and a half almost. I don't know what to tell you at this point. I guess we got to start over.
No. Okay.
No.
I love that.
The short intro.
I love that bit.
I wonder if Starduster comes with like the whole jetpack setup that the toy did, where you got the station and the launch pad, or if it's just, jetpack with the backpack.
Not a bad idea. Go full jump with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see him being a guy, because that figure is just going to be a Duke repaint, right?
Yeah.
Like there's nothing on Starduster that hasn't been done before. So yeah, I could see them spending the money there on a jump setup.
You know what I do? I would save that, because you could probably get Starduster with just the backpack and a weapon, maybe not that weapon, and then get us the Flash that Mike deserves. And by that, I mean the figure, not anyone taking clothes off. And then that's how you sell the repaint, right? Is the Silver Pads Grand Slam out of the Flash body as a deluxe figure with the jump base. And that's how I do it. But what do I know?
Going back to our last news item, Cheapest Big Spender asks, when is Super 7 going to make O-Ring What's on Joe Mine figures? As soon as we sign over the likeness deal, which is probably never going to come.
Yeah,
I think the problem is if you have Mike and I on blister cards, right? The sheer weight of our melons is going to make that bubble peel right off, right? And that's a lot of loss at the store level. So
I don't know. The rest of me is big and blocky too, so I would need the beefy boy body. But
Yeah, I won't sign off on. You think I'm going to sign off on my likeness with a brutal chest cut? I mean, come on.
You're in, man. Totally, whatever. You're in.
That ain't happening.
Oh,
Right.
you do it.
You'll see CM Punk back in the WWE before you see that.
Hey, this just in.
Right. It's one of those where, you know, I've been doing this show now for almost 13 years. Ran shows for a while, been part of the community for going on 2 decades. If they haven't made a figure of me by now, it's not happening. I cannot possibly be more popular than I was 6 or 7 years ago. So we're done there. So I'm a no seller in Super 7's eyes. I got nothing. I'm not like I'm not like the hotness that is Hood of Cobra Commander 788. We'd move thousands. But anyways, Honcho Weber needs to be on the Serpentor book.
I mean, I like it, but I don't know. I mean, so far I've been Raptor. So
right.
Well,
I'll take
he is
Serpentor.
coming.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Next news item.
Do-do-do-do.
I shouldn't say next news item, but certainly connected news item. There we go. We got some pre-orders coming up. I think I clicked too many times. No, that's the first one. Never mind. So first two on the pre-orders there, we got to see Big Boa. We got to see Quick Kick. And get real quick your guys' thoughts on these. We got the no shirt brigade coming up in the first half here. Mark Weber.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
I think Boa's great with the helmet on. I like that they're including a second head, but as I've said before, and lots of people have, the helmet should be on in the pack, and the helmet should be 20% bigger, right? It's not nanomite technology, and lots of toy lines get this wrong, right? So I'm not just picking on Hasbro here. With Quick Kick, my immediate thought was, is the sash backwards? And I wasn't sure. I had to try to look it up, but for animation, it sure is. It should be coming over his left shoulder, correct?
Yeah, I think it is different than it was. Yes.
I think it's also removable, so you can probably change it around if you want.
Yeah, if it's removable, then you just fix it yourself. But again, the brand manager goes down to the photo department because the photographers can't be asked or expected to know every toy line's nuance, right? That's why you send an expert down there to make sure it's correct.
Right. But I think just in the photo they have there, if you see that sash is kind of sticking out to the side like a shoulder pad.
Yeah.
It's because that piece is supposed to be down on his hip.
Yeah, that's probably a good point.
I think the photo just has it on the wrong shoulder. It's actually designed to be it's right front to back. It's just on the wrong shoulder.
Yeah,
so
get it. I mean, I'm a stickler for that kind of thing, right? Because that was my job, and it wasn't that hard. Get it right.
Right.
But the figure itself, yeah. Remember there was that Master of Kung Fu figure, like maybe a decade ago, not a decade ago, but 5 years ago, before the movie came out, that was so close to being Quick Kick that I remember picking it up, putting it down, walking to the front of Walmart, and then going, hell, and going back to get it. Figured it would stand in. So now I guess I can dig that out somewhere and put it, barbecue can have some company in the don't need these pile. Maybe my kids will get them for Christmas.
I just checked the website photos and on Hasbro's Pulse, they have pictures going this way and this way.
Why would you have it both ways?
Maybe just to show off that it's removable and you can have it either way you want. I don't know.
I mean, I guess.
But, I mean, that is curious. I mean, but that does work, too, because the fact that you can't have it both ways is good because there's the throwing stars in there, and you would have thought that would have been thrown off if you switched the shoulders, but it doesn't look like that happens.
I mean, some of them come with extra hands, too. You could put the left hand on the right arm if you want. But I wouldn't take pictures of it like that for my website.
I know. I get you, but, you know. So it can be fixed. Not a problem though.
I dig the loadout on Quick Kick. I think he's got some really inspired choices there. That the effect with the throwing star coming out of his hand, as you see in that picture there, which is why I put that picture in. I like that throwing star effect. He's got swords. He's got chucks. He's got what I don't like about the Quick Kick, and like if you're going to put a second head with Quick Kick, which they did, it doesn't look all that different from the first one. I'd have rather had a second set of feet. And maybe with the second feet, shoes. Like Quick Kick is a guy who I understand you're playing the hits. You're going right to 1985 for your inspiration. Quick Kick was another guy who desperately needed a redesign going forward, and they did Quick Kick really well back in Pursuit of Cobra.
Mm-hmm.
He got that Toys R Us exclusive where he had the Cobra Kai looking vest, and he had shoes on, and it was a great update for that figure. I wish they had gone with that one instead of this one, but I understand because a lot of classified fans can kind of be babies when things change from the original, and yeah.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong here. Have we ever seen a 6-inch figure with alternate feet before?
I don't know. I'm sure somewhere in Marvel it happened. I couldn't tell you.
I don't know.
I'm wondering if that's prohibitive in the idea that over time you don't want to weaken that ankle joint by popping things on and popping things off. But what do I know?
Yeah, I just I don't know. I just the straight up Bruce Lee homage is great and all, but like it didn't work for me in 1985. It works even less for me now. I'd have played with Quick Kick a lot more had he had a more sensible, combat attire than what he has. So
yeah, this looks like kind of like he's hanging out in the gym,
Right.
in the
Shoes,
dojo.
babies, get out in that snow.
I love that they found him like on an iceberg. That's great.
Yeah,
like this guy can do anything.
This guy's incredible.
Like,
this guy's tough. We found him
out.
in the snow just wearing pants.
Right.
Marvel Legends expert Matt Rubin notes that I do not believe they've issued feet as accessories.
There you go.
I mean, he does have that fudge bar though, so
right. They really should have put Quick Kick in the Defiant too, so he could go out spacewalking with payload. Because obviously,
he's got that.
The regular rules of nature do not apply to Quick Kick.
He's got that spare head. You can just pop it on the astronaut.
Right. Have him swimming way underwater with torpedo and wetsuit, like no big deal because air. I mean,
Cheapest Big Spender asks, does Quick Kick come with the candy bar? Yes, he does.
Yes.
That is, again, part of that. The loadout for Quick Kick, best of the four, I think. They really, the most original loadout is definitely Quick Kicks. And then finishing up this wave, we got a Techno Viper and we got Airborne, also winners. Great looking figures. Mark Weber, your thoughts?
I mean, they're both great. Though I tried to buy 3 of each Viper, but I actually had to pause on the Techno Viper. Because I got to have one for sure. That's a fantastic fig. Do I need 3 mechanics though?
Yeah.
I bought 2.
Now that you got a H.I.S tank, you got to have 3.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I can't commit to 3, but 1 definitely. It's a great fig.
Now that the purple technician is not a thing, you absolutely have to have 3.
This is why the purple technician shouldn't be a thing.
Is that a gradient fade on the Cobra logo? Or is that just
I think that's just lighting.
I think it's just lighting.
Okay. Yeah. Airborne, obviously, I'm totally cool with. I know there was some furor online about it being crazy close to some guy's custom, but I mean, they're all using the same parts at some point anyway. So I've got to imagine every new figure is close to somebody's custom.
Right. Every new Joe that gets pushed out there, there's at least one comment where there's some customizer. And again, I absolutely respect the work being done on those customs. It's more than I could do. It's better than I could do. Again, all the respect in the world, but at the same time, check yourself, bro.
Yeah, you're custom, that you're based on a design that was done by somebody else. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, your quotes design of a figure that was done 40 years ago is not that original to begin with, and certainly not. It doesn't deviate from the actual design that was done by somebody else who was paid to do it back then. Just no, just stop. Just have some form of perspective on these things. But it happens with every single figure that comes out. It's like, oh well, mine looks better. Well, okay,
Right.
Okay, fine. Then don't buy this one. More
yeah.
David,
Every
David-
once in a while, they're actually right, and
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
better. But
Yeah.
let's just chill out.
How many hours you spend working on that one fig? 80. Okay. Yeah.
Look, if that's how you get your joy, absolutely keep doing
Oh
it.
yeah. I don't have any problem with it. More power to them. Wish I had that kind of talent, but
Right. When the Hasbro one comes for all of us who would like to have a cool airborne, maybe we just nod and say, yeah, that looks pretty good. I like mine better. I'm gonna stick with mine.
yeah.
That's all it takes.
To David Warren Hernandez with maybe the quote of the night saying that Techno Viper has entrance music that goes ooncha, 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 ooncha.
European Club Viper.
Yeah, that thing on the back, that's a speaker. Techno Viper is here to get down, man.
Jeff Butler advises that we need to wait and get the eventual Crimson Techno Viper later next year.
Python Techno Viper. It's gonna be amazing.
Techno Viper will be attending Bond to see the Kraftwerk.
Well, now we have the brand new Tiger Techno Viper. He is angular and beautiful.
Like Vic Tayback, he is dance.
David Warren Hernandez also notes that the quad NVG's a nice touch on airborne. I agree. If he's going to be an airborne ranger, you give him all the gear.
He's going to that Dragonfly. The second I get those two things together, you betcha.
Oh yeah.
Or he's going to ride on the skids the way that he was intended to.
Or hanging on the bottom from the friggin' cable, baby.
Falling down like he is on the card art.
Yep.
Assaulting things.
Firefly says he gave his 87 Techno Viper the Ramp Rat glow sticks.
Now we're talking.
And not only is he ready for the club, he can also do Wuthering Heights with semaphore flags. Anyways. So anyways, that's our foursome there. We can see him in clear background here. They are part of the basic assortment. They're checking in at around $25 a piece. They're going to be available in the spring. These are mass release, so wherever toys are sold, Target, Walmart, etc. These are the guys in the regular strength boxes. So look for them everywhere. Mark Weber, out of the four, who's your favorite?
Ooh. You know, that Techno Viper is damn near perfect. It really is. So I like them all. This is a really strong wave. But yeah, that Techno Viper is badass. I just don't know if I need three. But look at this. Proving your point, Mike. What's the Techno Viper doing to quick kick immediately when he gets next to him? He's stomping on that bare foot, baby.
Right. He just taking it right. Shaking it right out. Rack Time Rob, your favorite out of the four.
Again, like all four of them, I think I'm going airborne. Had an affinity for airborne. Love the Dragonfly. Always put them in there, so airborne.
Are the goggles atop the helmet just green? Are there no lenses on it at all?
They're designed to look like they're under the cover of the helmet.
Oh, okay.
Because he has that wrap on the helmet.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Right. There are goggles that he can wear. And I think they fit under the helmet.
I might have done that differently. But
then I'd almost have to see it in hand to really know what they're trying to do there. But
yeah.
From this distance, it looks like a miss. I'd love to see actual lenses on those goggles, but yeah, we'll see.
With all apologies to Big Boa, because he's just so weird that I love him. I am torn on this one between Quick Kick and the Techno Viper. I really, as much as I don't care for that design on Quick Kick, I really think they knocked him out of the park in regards to the stuff he comes with, the originality that's there. That's what I want. If you're going to do a straight up redo of a design on a classified, what they showed you with Quick Kick, between, even if it's just something as dumb as the fudgy bar, that's what I would like to see, is new wrinkles on existing designs more than anything else. These guys are all straight out of the past, so there's no points for originality really on any of them. And I think Quick Kick is the one that brings the most newish elements to the table. So
he's crazy posable, right? Which is important for that kind of figure, I think. But look at that friggin' shoulder and chest area, man. It looks like he was assembled in a lab from pieces of other Quick Kicks.
He's the ultimate fighting Quick Kick,
I guess. He's the universal soldier. They brought him back.
Quickenstein.
Right?
And by the same token, why I'm torn with the Techno Viper is it looks like he's got the same equipment, but it's all updated. And I really dig that wrist thing. You see the hologram there and that shot.
Yeah, that's a neat touch.
Yeah, like I like the Techno Viper for the same reasons that I like Quick Kick. So I like, if you ask me tomorrow, I might say him. But so I'm kind of torn between the two of them. See, you should get 3, because otherwise Tony Renteria is going to get 8. So
if you don't mind your Quick Kick being a little shorter than probably he should be, you could put Airborne's feet on Quick Kick.
Right.
And solve your problem.
Get some boots.
Yeah, and he'd go about 5'7", but that's all right.
Right. That's fine. That's all right. 5'7's not too short. They let you carry at 5'7".
If you turn those capri pants into full legs, that full on pants that go down to the ankle bump, now it's like Dorf on Kung Fu, right? Like I don't know. Forget, you know what? Forget I said anything. We'll just edit that out.
Tim Conway's the best. I loved Dorf on Kung Fu.
Nobody should have got as much mileage out of that gimmick as Tim Conway did. So credit to him.
Because he's Tim Conway, man. He's a legend.
Yeah, he's a beast. Watching him break Harvey Korman on the old Carol Burnett show. Oh man,
right.
That's good comedy right there.
Seldomly break himself is the best.
Yeah.
He was the grenade they would toss in to just make chaos, and then he would never fall for it. That was the best part of it.
When he'd have 3 or 4 of them on the edge, and then he'd wait for it, and then just deliver the knockout and just kill the whole sketch.
Knock him down like 10 pins.
Yeah.
The entire studio. Torpedo Mike says that, Mark, without 3, you can't have the 3 amigos.
Yeah.
Diana Davis notes that Techno Viper is so slick he belongs to the KY Joe show. There we go. There's a callback.
Ding, ding, ding.
Well played.
Speaking of callbacks.
Meow. 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 Meow.
You are going to torture that poor furry little bastard at Christmas, right?
Man.
And he's going to love every second of it.
Even his attack was kind of half-assed, right? He was just like,
Again, he loved every second of it. He kept going back.
Yeah, that was at least 12 times each day that we were there. At least 12. Jeff Butler, comedy connoisseur, recommends Tim Conway's autobiography called "What's So Funny." Yeah, that would probably be great. I do need to check that. There we go. Cheapest big spender. It's socket to us time. There we go. There we go. That's second place right there. That's not as good as the Diana Davis callback, but it's right there. It's right there. I had to get the socks clip in there when we were up over 100 viewers, so I needed to get that. Anyways, next up,
And now we're back down to 48.
right? And we're next news item.
Do.
Keeping with the live stream. Oh,
Here we go.
Collection. The retro collection. And this is from what I've gathered, the circles that I run in, these are the figures that got everybody the most excited. But Scarlet, Duke, and Rakondo will be showing up single carded. We had I've seen some folks complaining that regular strength Rakondo there isn't going to come in a box like the Tiger Force one did. To which my reaction is, what do you want?
Right.
God damn. Just take it when
I'm giving a close up so that you can see my little violin playing that sad song.
Oh.
Did you just get the figure?
Oh, who cares what kind of packaging it's in?
Well, I prefer it not in a closed box where I'm not positive it's actually Rakondo in there.
Right. Look, within
I think
reason.
that was valid. But yeah, beyond that, beyond wanting to see what you're buying.
Yeah, God forbid. I'm with you there.
I just love how Scarlet is so tricked out with weapons. It looks like she's going to shoot up the whole town of Sanford with Simon Pegg.
Mm.
Oh, I'm glad you finished the movie reference there, because otherwise
It's fantastic. All you need is a toothpick.
Wildly inappropriate if you had not been.
Because the original Scarlet is kind of a lousy fig on a couple levels. This is quite possibly best Scarlet ever.
Oh, I think that goes without saying.
Yeah. Well, I just said it though.
Right. It's the leader in the clubhouse.
Man, the one thing that
we don't even have it in hand, and it's I'm already willing to at least give it some. I'm at least going to book it in the title match, so to speak. Right.
Yeah. The only thing I would change on that design, and they did it later on in the comics pretty recently, is that they made the pants actual like military pants, so it wasn't like the Baywatch outfit over the gray body whatever. Like when it's all pants and not the yellow bikini below, I think it's actually a better look. But that's nitpicking. Because this is true to the original. It's fantastic, and they got the crossbow in the right hand. So I then no more blonde streak in her red hair. I mean, I really couldn't ask for more. This is pretty awesome.
And she did not skip leg day.
No,
she's going to kick you in the face, and it's going to hurt a lot.
Scarlet comes with 2 T's and 2 C's because she'd be thick.
Oh, Craig Cohan not valuing his own life, sending little Rakondo for a Christmas present. Joe Colton will love it.
Craig, don't put a return address on that.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That's a P.O. box if I've ever heard one.
But don't put our return address on it either.
It's going to be a P.O. box when she sees it. She's not going to like that one bit, and it's awesome.
Andrew Gauguin notes it's called Scarlet, the classified redemption figure. Yeah, there's certainly something there. That's I didn't have a problem with the one that they did early. It was a little too gold,
busy,
right? Like so many of that first wave, it was just a little busy. And
it had a blonde streak in her red hair.
Right. It didn't bother me like it bothers you, but you're one of those ginger purists.
And it had a knife boot. It had boob knife. That was bad.
I don't.
No,
I haven't.
It had a knife sheath like right in the front. Like, come on.
I have very limited shelf space, so like classified Scarlet didn't make the cut. It's been in a box for 2 years.
Yeah.
So, So yeah, here they are in clear background. They also about $25 a piece. Spring 2024. They are Hasbro Pulse and online retailers, toy specialists. So not quite mainline release, but certainly easy enough to get a hold of.
Yeah. And for all of you who complained about Glenda, this is Glenda. This is what Glenda got you.
You mean like Dustin Jeffrey?
It's just like a Glenda repaint. Oh.
Yeah, right.
Profit
That
Direct,
may be our bronze medal.
welcome to the show. How long do you think it'll be before we get Cobra Commander on a retro card with a regular Cobra logo? I think pretty soon.
Not
Yeah, I
too
think
long.
tune in next year early.
Like probably next wave of retro assortment. That would be my guess.
I'm gonna assume that the visor on Duke's helmet comes off. I don't know that for sure, but why would you put a visor on Duke?
There's some early promo art that had it.
So
Right, I understand, but that's at least the inspiration for it.
as long as it's removable, I got no problem with it. But to be that authentic to the first one and then go, how about this?
I mean, it's Duke. I'm probably not ever putting the helmet on him anyway, so I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm not going to bitch.
If it's removable, no big deal. If it's
Renteria assures it does. He's got that inside track, you know.
I don't care if Starduster and a lot of other Joes had a visor.
Duke didn't, yeah.
So that's why you're going to do it wrong.
Look, let it go.
No. Do it
Better.
If this is the retro collection and that's what you're going for, then don't make decisions that cost more, that make them less accurate.
As Diana Davis puts in the live chat, buy it, take the visor off.
Yeah, it's a reasonable fix. Or save the company money and do it right the first time.
Oh, Mark, if they save the company money here, then they won't get to fire people later.
I guess that's true.
Come on now. Come on.
I'm but a simple caveman lawyer. Your ways are confusing to me.
I'm but a humble marketer.
Right. If it comes off, I got no problem. If it doesn't, then it's a mistake that costs money.
I just right. It may just I don't know. I'm not even going to conjecture on it.
Yeah,
I don't.
It doesn't cost less. You make a second spot in the mold for it, and you activate the one you want to keep it accurate for the guy. You know, if that's your kind of thing, if that's valuable to you.
You know, I'll just I'll give the helmet to somebody else.
There you go.
So they can have a completely inaccurate helmet.
Beachhead.
And I'll take pictures of it and send them to Mark just so he has a little spasm about it.
Put the helmet on Beachhead and then the beret on the helmet. And now we're talking.
Torpedo Mike says, but wait, Mark is happiest when he has something to grumble about.
Look, man.
That's a regular viewer.
You think I didn't get into being the voice of reason to win the popularity contest, right?
Well, you know. Sorry, going through live chat. So, Yorktown Joe, quote, if it comes off, I got no problem with it. That's Mark at a tattoo parlor.
Yeah. This seems legit.
Pork Bylon says, Boylan rather says, looks like a lazy bastard custom.
It's about time.
Look at them setting you up, Mark, and you're here complaining about it. Craig Cohan, Honcho is Eeyore? Well, kind of.
I'm just keeping it real.
Somebody's got it. It's amazing that used to be my role on the show, and now I can't let it be. Otherwise, we would just fall down a hole of self-loathing.
Does Duke not have a brutal chest cut?
I think he does. It's just kind of hiding in there.
Diana said it, man. I defer to Diana on all things Duke.
Well, let's go back. Let's go back to the other.
In the Wayback Machine. It's right there. It's not the thumb.
It's right midsection there.
Yeah. It's like the chest cut they've used like with Bazooka and Hawk.
Yeah.
I think
it hides a little better with the binoculars and the sash, but
the bandolier, yeah.
Sash. I'm making Duke
sash. That's awesome.
Fashion. He's Mr. First Sergeant.
He's Mr. Missouri. in the swimsuit competition.
Next news item.
Do.
And wrapping up the live stream, we got to see some shots of the 60th anniversary Action Soldier and Action Sailor in their full gear. These guys are pretty awesome. I don't want to. These are great looking toys. I don't know if I need to be picking them up.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're almost too realistic to fit in GI Joe. But they are wonderful figures. I don't want to take away from that. I like a lot of what's going on with these.
Well, they're too real to fit into this iteration of GI Joe.
Right, 80s version of GI Joe.
1960s, they are right at home.
Yeah.
I mean, really, today, 2023, they're right at home. It's just that the classified ones are not at home at 2023. Mark Weber, your thoughts?
Yeah, they look great. They really do. But by the same token, I don't need these guys.
Yeah, they're cool, but again, $35 a pop because, as we'll see on the next slide here, 60th
loaded.
It's a deluxe assortment. These guys have weapons upon weapons upon weapons. I didn't want to put a ton of pictures in there because we'd just be looking at weapons all day. But they're coming in at around $35 a piece. They are also going to be available in spring at Hasbro Pulse and online toy resellers, or retailers rather.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if realistic figures are your thing, you're going to be buying these guys up by the bunch,
mm-hmm.
And just swapping heads and making realistic style Joes out of them, I'm sure. Or if troop builders are not called steel, whatever they're called, I don't know.
Steel core.
Steel core. If you don't want steel core as your troop builders, these guys will fill the bill, certainly. And again, they'll make Duke look pretty corny standing next to him, but whatever. They're great looking toys. They come with great gear. If you're looking to maybe outfit some of the older classified figures with more realistic looking weapons, that's a take. You certainly have an avenue there. But yeah, which one do you like better, Mark?
I mean, I'm a sucker for the diver's awesome. I mean, he really is, for like the stealth underwater, knife in the back, middle of the night diver op. Love it.
Yeah.
If they aren't a defined guy, I just don't need them. And I never liked GI Joe troop builders. Steel Brigade did nothing for. I mean, I got one, right? But I didn't need a bunch of Steel Brigade. I don't need a bunch of green shirts. I always got multiples of the Cobras because they made so many GI Joes. Cobra was always outnumbered. And I always wanted to have, for my big battle in the family room, I wanted it to be an even fight on some level. So that's why I bought more Vipers and more, Heat Vipers and more Crimson Guardsmen, was to balance out the war. So from that aspect, I never dove into the troop builders on the Joe side because I didn't need them. If the idea is that G.I. Joe is the best of the best, yeah, it might be fumbles.
Your six-pack observation, it's fumbles from Robot Chicken.
Yeah, that's a good call, actually. So again, I think they look great. I understand why Hasbro's making them. I think they're cool. I think a lot of people will buy them. I won't be one of them, but I'm not mad at them, right?
Right.
I don't need them. And that is such a healthy perspective for an adult toy collector, right? Like, these look awesome. I don't need them, but I'm sure they're going to make a lot of people happy. There you go. Right.
There's absolutely an audience there. So it's not my cup of tea, but hey, if these are yours, I totally get it. These are pretty awesome toys. We're mature enough that we can step back from stuff we're not necessarily going to buy and say, that's pretty awesome. And if you like it, you should get it.
Right.
That's always going to be the case. It looks like I'm being corrected on price. But they told us in the live stream they were going to be deluxe. So maybe it's just something to take advantage of while you can. Entertainment Earth was ringing them up at $24.99 early on. So check that out. If you had looking to pre-order these guys, maybe that's Maybe that's what.
I'm thinking that might have been something they did early, because I know when I was going through and ordering stuff later in the day, I think they were showing up at the $34.99.
Oof.
Okay.
$34.99 is a lot to pay for a figure. I mean, there's figures available for less than $20 that would make any kid in your family.
Because I had to jump onto Entertainment Earth for the Techno Vipers and Big Boa, because they were sold out on the Pulse by the time I got home.
Okay.
But by jumping on Entertainment Earth, I also got a Superpowers Green Lantern and Sinestro.
Oh, now we're talking. They'll have to ship them separately, though.
Mark, if somebody was interested in, say, army building Mad Marauders Barbecue, how much money would that cost somebody?
Here's the brutal part, man. They're starting to show up at Ollie's for like $6. So what market there was has completely collapsed. So yeah. I can't even ship this guy. Right?
Gambled and lost.
More expensive to ship than he's worth. So welcome home, Gabriel Barbecue Kelly version 2. And by version 2, I mean the second one of this Mad Marauder I got on accident. Oops.
Look, man, Toys for Tots is always taken. He's not. He doesn't have any guns or anything like that, so they will actually take Barbecue and give it to somebody who would like a G.I. Joe toy.
I mean, he kind of has a water pistol, but
who doesn't have a water pistol?
I suppose that's true.
Right.
I wish they put a visor on him.
I wish they'd have given him a non-helmeted head.
That's a good point.
That's the ultimate fail of what is otherwise a pretty good barbecue toy.
And he's a redhead too, isn't he?
He was on the Sunbow cartoon, yeah.
I had to figure out how I can make that work. Maybe there's a Matt Murdock head. I can make it happen. But if I was going to do that, I'd be doing that with the orange one, right? I'm not doing it with the blue one. The blue one sucks.
Yeah. Anyhow. So Ragtime Rob, which one do you like best?
I don't know. I haven't ordered either one of them yet, just because it was like, I ain't got enough money for the ones I really need. At first glance, I would have said the Soldier, but the Diver's growing on me.
Yeah, I'll be honest. The photography for the Diver, go check that out on Hasbro Pulse, if nothing else. It was the shots they took of the Diver that really sold me on the Diver. They did a really great job with that.
He's got the little scooter. He's got the
right. There's just all kinds of cool stuff.
Little Scooty Puff Jr. It's great.
Scooty Puff Jr. You don't have Scooty Puff Jr. Scooty Puff Jr. sucks.
Get that reference, kids.
Yeah, clean sweep on the Sailor for that one. The Diver, or whatever you want to call him. I think he is officially referred to as the Sailor, and they just very clearly a diver.
Well, it's like Action Sailor, Recon Diver.
Right.
As if it was like, an outfit to put on the Sailor, from back in the day.
Figure Six Pack says use the Marvel Legend arcade head for barbecue.
Ooh,
that way you can capture all of his red afroed bucktooth glory from Sunbow.
I like
why not just get Alfred E. Newman?
That's a good point too. Or Howdy Doody. But I like the guys who use the Norman Osborn head for Airtight customs, because that weird hair that Airtight had seemed to come from the Norman Osborn collection. So
did Airtight have? Well, yeah, I guess Airtight did have.
He had the receding hairline, but it wasn't the odd cornrow braid that seems to run in the Osborn family.
So weird.
It was he just had the serious widow's peak.
Yeah.
He needed to visit I can't think of it. Anyways, the
hair club for men?
Yeah, thank you. Cy Sperling. That's who I was trying to pull out. Oh God. It's getting late if I can't pull out Cy Sperling.
And he wasn't just the president.
He's also a member.
He was also a client.
Mm-hmm.
That
I get the feeling he hung out with the Men's Warehouse guy and Dave Thomas from Wendy's, and like they fought crime on the weekend. when they weren't making commercials.
A nice catered lunch from Dave Thomas.
Yeah.
Next news item.
Doo-doo.
Hey, there we go. Remember, we still have some reveals listed on Entertainment Earth's Drop Zone. Tomorrow, there are action figures. We don't know what it is, really. They haven't said anything. But maybe something from G.I. Joe. Something about rockets in the description. They try to be cute and spin jokes. So a lot of folks are conjecturing that perhaps that red and black themed Cobra version of the MMS.
The SMS?
Sure. That maybe that's tomorrow because we needed to spend more money on classified this week. Ugh.
Yeah, Jesus.
Oh.
Give me till January, will you?
Right.
I mean, it's a problem, right? If they're putting out so much product that die-hard collectors are having to say, I like it, but I'm going to have to say no, right?
Or I have to wait. Yeah, there's certainly a discussion for another day in regards to pumping out product too fast. And maybe on a week where we have a little bit more time, we can expand on that one a little bit. Maybe next week.
I like that Hasbro believes in Joe enough to afford this kind of item count and tooling budget and really kind of aggressive release schedule. But hopefully they know, because it's hard to react that quickly, right? But hopefully they're realizing, okay, that's probably a little too much, and let's dial it back a little bit moving forward. So
anyways, keep an eye out tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern. Maybe something else showing up. Next news item. Hey, if you've got a watchful eye on any of our What's on Joe Mind merchandise over at the swag shop on TeePublic, just remember the big TeePublic sale ends at 3:00 this morning. So get your ordering in tonight, and that way you'll get your gifts in time for Christmas. Whether it's a mug or a T-shirt or stickers or magnets. I know we get a small cut on that, but really, I mean, so many folks would have to buy so many shirts for us to make any legitimate money on this. So I don't feel too bad shilling, but if you want to save a deep cut on your TeePublic What's on Joe Mind merchandise, follow the link down below. Do it tonight. Got about 5 hours left. Well, maybe, about 4 hours.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it. Do
Next
it.
news item.
Do it.
And of course, holiday programming notes. If you haven't been paying attention with us, next week we will have the regularly scheduled team stream. Brian will be with us. Hopefully, we will have another special guest with us December 19th. That is Tuesday for the last team stream of 2023. Christmas week, we will have Mark and I will be an interview for special edition 89. We did it again for one that will air New Year's week for special edition 90. The Honcho and I putting in some extra time for your holiday entertainment this month.
That's right.
January 9th, we will be back regular with the top 10 G.I. Joe news stories of 2023. That will be the three of us plus super sub Biff McHonky Donk Phil Donnelly.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 16th will be the top 10 G.I. Joe toys of 2023. Same lineup. The three of us plus Phil reviewing the year that was 2023.
Anybody want to place bets on number one?
Mm-hmm. It's from Diamond Collectibles.
Right.
God, I hope not. God help me, Honcho. God help me.
Mark's number one will probably be like a bust.
Don't
even need a statue.
So
unless that bust flips up and reveals the bat poles, you better be ready.
Cheapest Big Spender says they said on the 7th it was the last of the Joes for the rest of the year. I'll believe it when I see it, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch.
I'll believe it when I see it. Tony Renteria asks, can we move the show back to Friday nights? No, it is my work schedule that resulted in the move to Tuesday. that hasn't changed. So we moved to Tuesday for functional purposes, not for we didn't make a choice on that one. It was Tuesday night or not at all. So we went Tuesday.
And Tuesday night gets us that Hooded Cobra Commander lead in, right?
Right.
We got good neighbors.
It's a night of Joe programming.
Mm-hmm.
Right. There's nothing good on TV. We know.
It's Tuesday.
But
been off the air for 20 years.
Yeah, like Friday nights too. At some, it was good during the pandemic when nobody had anything to do on Friday night. We kind of felt like we were providing a service, but we're back into life again. There's weeks when maybe we want to do stuff on the weekends. Anyways, next news item. Anyways, there's your schedule. Make notes.
Yeah.
We're going a little long tonight. I know there was a lot to cover, so we didn't want to shortchange anything. We didn't want to cheap out. And of course, that is the end of the news. Chunky Tank Kitty brought to you by the G.I. Joe 3D Printing Podcast. He's sitting there in his Meowler tank. He's ready for action. He's ready for battle. Be sure to tune in to the G.I. Joe 3D Printing Podcast for all the news on the upcoming availability of Chunky Tank Kitty version 2.0. Coming soon, we hope. Diana Davis says, I like it when boys get long. That's right, lady.
Well, she's been salty tonight.
Absolutely.
Right? We gotta make sure Cullen's home.
Yeah, I'm saying anybody brand new to the podcast is probably like, wow, she seems nice. She knows her Joe. She's kind of edgy. Yeah. Have you met Cullen? He's awesome, by the way.
But that's the news. And while we're at it, I won't throw too much in here, but stick with us. We do have we have a little bit more show to come, but stick around for a quick word from our wonderful sponsors at Kokomo Toys.
We buy, sell, and trade vintage and modern toys. G.I. Joe, Star Wars, Transformers, Marvel, DC, and more. Located in beautiful downtown Kokomo, Indiana, we are open every Wednesday through Saturday from 12 to 5. It's a theme park of nostalgia. Join the thousands of people who have traveled from all over the Midwest for over a decade to buy and sell with us. Get your geek on.
All right. So we do have there's some we're going to take a pass. We did have a couple of letters from you folks for post sock tonight but we're going to pass on those this evening. We will catch them next week when we've got Brian here to provide silly non-stock answers for the What's on Joe Mind team. But we do want to do a quick what we got in, and we'll turn to Rack Time Rob on this one because his is available to him. We do want to give at least a brief and inexpensive look at the Cobra classified H.I.S.
Oh,
this. I don't know if I can fit it on all the way.
That's good enough. That's as good as we're gonna do.
Yeah.
We don't have the facilities to accommodate a live unboxing, so this is the best we're gonna get.
Yeah. Might I say that this thing, the size of the house cat that Michael was torturing,
I think it's bigger than Mr. Soxo.
Yeah.
Or it's Mr. Sacco or Dr. Soxo.
Yeah, the classified H.I.S. tank on all levels is an A+, home run, out of the park, clear the bases, fantastic. Anybody who said, "Oh, they're going for a small vehicle, how cheap?" No, this is not cheap. This is worth this is worth it. This is a fantastic item.
Mine's not here yet, Rob. What's the weight like on it? What do you think?
It's solid. It's not super heavy.
Okay.
But it's solid. It's definitely well made, and I mean I have mine tricked out with all the things on it. The treads roll incredibly nicely. The figures are fantastic. I haven't opened Cobra Commander yet, but I will.
Or maybe a trade. Ooh.
No.
No.
And
I'm not even
Just saying.
involved in this transaction. No.
You stay out of this, Mike. I'm negotiating.
Yeah, you're negotiating. All right. You're like the Oakland A's trying to get Juan Soto. No.
Right.
Again, the A's did make an offer for Shohei Ohtani. I believe they were offering $1 million a year for 700 years.
Yeah.
Right.
It did not work out for them, though. But so Rack Time Rob, you're giving it the A+, huh?
Yes. Yeah.
I haven't even opened mine yet, and there is still so much cardboard around here that I don't feel like I can. So it just we got to go one at a time on these.
Yeah. I gotta make some trips to the recycler dumpster.
Yeah. Yorktown Joe notes that it must be good that is genuine joy on Rob's face, and that never happens.
No. It happens at the end of the school year. I've seen that smile before.
Dustin Jeffrey asks, "Is it a chunky tank?"
Oh, it's a chunky tank. It's it's fantastic. There are no, like I said, I have not a single complaint about that. So it's a fantastic piece. It is as advertised.
There it was. Matt Rubin said he had to get a new table to display my H.I.S. tank. It wasn't fitting in the niche I had designated for the Cobra motor pool.
Yeah. No, it is. Believe the hype. If you're still waiting on yours, and or you haven't opened yours yet, you have something to look forward to.
Right.
Enjoy.
Right. Any quality control issues or no?
No, not that I detect. No.
Good. I haven't seen it from anybody else.
The guns fall out of the rack a little too easy in the back. That's about it. And I mean the individual rifles on the individual thing. The guns on the tank and the turret and stuff like that. Yeah, they are rock solid in. They are fantastic.
Benjamin Kitt says 3 H.I.S. tanks arrived Saturday. Got to get them out of the dining room before Christmas, or maybe I can convince the wife to cancel Christmas. That would just be easier. Yeah, it probably would. It's not as like the box is not as big as the Sky Striker box was. But
no, it's more compact than that. When you open them up, I mean, they're incredibly well packaged. It's
yeah.
I mean, you would need explosives to damage those things. So you're going to get it in good shape, extremely well packaged. I mean, it's just like I said, A+ all the way on every level of it.
Andrew Gaugan says, "Here's hoping that a different colored H.I.S. tank shows up as a Hasbro Pulse exclusive in the future. That would be cool."
No. 2 seconds.
That's a 2 sexy. It's 2 sexy.
No.
But at the same time, he busted out a blue one with Rip It, maybe.
Yeah, the golfer.
Right. Jeff Butler, getting personal. Does it make you excited to make space for classified vehicles, Rob?
I don't know where this thing's going right now.
We'll save that for the post show, the What's on Joe Mind After Hours, available exclusively through our Patreon, which does not exist.
No, but when it does, it'll be $1,000 a month.
Right.
We only need like 3 people to sign up.
We really just want to take care of it.
Yeah.
Oh, wealthy benefactor.
Yeah, want to talk to us for an hour a week? We'll split the 1,000 4 ways, 3 ways. Eh. If you want to give Ringo less, that's up to you.
Start putting together a wrestling style pitch for Tony Khan, Mark. I think we could sell it.
Yeah, pretty good idea. Here's the deal: everybody kicks out of everything. It's going to be amazing.
At which point, you could have Derek run by and clothesline you, and you can just pop back up.
Right? It's going to be so good.
Firefly wants to see the Mike versus Rob floor battle with classified H.I.S. tanks. You know what? Maybe someday.
I want to see Mike pushing Rob's H.I.S. tank around with his feet, making it go meow, meow.
He's got his own tank for that.
Stay
away from my tank.
But if he puts his feet on yours, now we got like the Step Brothers "Don't Touch My Drum Set" thing, which is going to be incredible.
It's Rack Time Rob. What else you get in?
Well, let's see. Like I said last week, I got Ripper and Helix. and Hawk, and Buzzer's on his way. And of course, the finest game of 1981 had to offer.
That's right. The Dallas trading card game.
Who did shoot JR? All of them.
It was a dream sequence, correct?
Yeah.
Purchased at Kokomo Toys for the low price of $10.
A steal.
I spent more on Braun here at Kokomo Toys.
That's a good thing. I have that
Yeah.
Braun.
Yeah, bronze quality. Rob picked it up and showed it to me off the shelf and then put it back on the rack. I was like, "Oh fuck no, you're buying that." I don't think that's. No, you're stuck with it now. You need to buy that. CT Davis asks, "What's on Joe Biden OnlyFans like?" It's where you see us gradually put on more layers.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say it's pale. It's very pale.
Very pale.
Yeah. It looks like this. Wait. Hold on. I can do this one better.
Right.
Give me a second while I touch up my appearance.
Pardon me while I go grab a jacket.
Again, he's gone full Odo.
Right?
Quark, what are you smuggling in?
Man, I tell you, that's rough.
Jeff Butler, who follows us on Instagram, is happy that you actually bought the card.
That's better.
Mark, you got anything in real quick?
I didn't think I did, and then during the during the Kokomo Toy spot, I bugged out and grabbed it from the Christmas shelf behind me. I got this last year, but I couldn't use it till this year. So riddle me this: it is, what is today? The 13th. We can update it. It's a Nakatomi Plaza Advent calendar. So I saved it for the show so we can update it, so we can take old Hans Gruber there, right? Hold on. There we go.
There we go.
Take old Hans Gruber. We'll just drop him on down here.
Move on down to the 12.
13. Yeah.
It's 13 now. Or it's going to be.
There you go. So there you go. Hans is on his way.
That is horrible and fantastic at the same time.
Pretty happy about this. So I'll put it back up on the Christmas shelf. You can't really see it or tell what it is from back there, but from right here, ain't no doubt. That's Nakatomi Plaza right there. So
I got the same stuff Rob got in. I just haven't opened any of it yet.
there you go.
So let's roll into shout outs. Rack time, Rob, who we shouting out?
Shout out to the studio audience. Thanks for tuning in tonight. So hey, thanks. Happy holidays, everybody.
Again, we'll see him next week, so you don't have to.
I know, but still.
Off the year. I suppose happy holidays to our Jewish friends who are in the middle of Hanukkah.
I may be eaten by rabid children by then, so who knows?
Right.
That's fair.
Say hi to your whole mishpucha.
Mark Weber.
Yeah.
Shout outs.
I mean, I hate to bring the room down because we've been spending an hour 45 getting away from it. But to any of the Hasbro folks who lost their job today, I know exactly what that feels like, and it sucks out loud. So to all of you, better chapter ahead. I'm really sorry you had to go through this at all. But best wishes. I don't know if there's anything I can do to help, but if there is, if I can be a reference for the few of you left that I actually worked with, but especially to the guy I know best, and usually it trickles out. There might be more, but for guys I worked with, Michael Kelly was absolutely top shelf. One of my favorite people to work with ever. So I'm sorry to hear about his departure, but I have no doubt it won't take but a heartbeat for him to find something else. And something else that'll respect him a little more. He didn't deserve this, and it's a shame that we won't have his guiding hand on the comic continuities anymore, because he's a real talent and a great guy and an advocate for the brand. And guys like that inside those walls are pretty rare. So to lose one of the few who understood it and understood the value and the power and the possibility of it. So I hope there's no sin. There's probably a couple cynics out there like, publishing guy, whatever, just give me my figures. No, it matters. It does. And that's a loss to the brand and to the community. So
look, when that's the only cross media you have,
yeah,
it's a real important piece of the package.
Yeah. So to Michael Kelly, better days ahead, and the brand and the company is lesser without you.
I'm going to give a shout out to Claude.
Oh, yeah.
Claude got a sickeningly healthy, clean bill of health. That's so good for Claude.
Feed that cat.
Right, we're big on the kitty. Give a shout out to everybody watching us at home. If you're catching us live, or if you're catching us on replay, whether you're doing it on Facebook, please, by all means, give us some kind of a reaction. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a heart. Give us a little huggy guy. We do love a little huggy guy, but whatever you want. If you want to get mad at us, do it. If you want to give us a little sad because we did so much bad news this week, do that too. We don't care. Just do something to interact with us. If you're catching us here on the YouTubes, first off, thanks. That's the thing you can do to help us out the most is just watch. But since you're here, go ahead, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, leave us a comment down below with your thoughts about any of the cool stuff that Hasbro tried to sell to us this week. Maybe your thoughts on the Super 7 mothership or where you think the O-ring line is going to go. Let's if you're going to talk about the Hasbro layoffs, let's keep it civil. And not go totally crazy, because I'm sure there were good people that had to make tough decisions in that regard too. So there's probably some not so great people that had to make tough decisions, but whatever. That's for another. That's for another day.
There was only ever one person I was waiting to see get let go. That was always the highlight of the unfortunate layoff days. But that person was gone a while ago, so I didn't even have that anymore.
Right.
To be like, well, if it was a big swipe, I bet they got that one.
Right. So again, if that's what you're doing for us, again, like, subscribe, go back in our catalog, check out some of our previous episodes. We're silly like this kind of a lot. It helps you understand some of the inside jokes, because we can't undo those. It's just we do running gags on this program.
We are hella silly.
Give a shout out to our wonderful sponsors at Kokomo Toys. We'll sing the theme song real quick. Kokomo
Toys.
Yeah, Greg Augustin says there's 80 people watching now and only 7 thumbs up. That's crazy. Click the damn thumbs up, for crying out loud.
Let the boy click the thumbs up.
Come on now. Help us out.
It ain't going to hurt him.
Help us out.
Please, let me click the thumbs up button.
Give a shout out to our wonderful lead-in and great friend, Brian Lower, Hooded Cobra Commander 788, who'll be joining us next week on the TeamStream after he does his own show, which we may or may not be a part of. I don't know.
All of a sudden, HCC is Jim Rome, right? He banged the monkey and got his 3rd hour.
Rack him. And,
right.
And then, of course, to you folks, however you're catching us, we give you a shout out as well. For Rack Time Rob, for Mark Weber, shout out to you guys for being here. We appreciate you every week. It's a big chunk out of your day, especially Rack Time Rob's got to get up in the morning, so I suppose we ought to end this fairly soon. Even Firefly saying, "Wow, we are way over." Yes.
Right?
Yes, sir, we are.
And just I had somebody ask me, well, why don't you get a guest host to fill? We don't always need 4 voices. Look, back in the day, we did four voices because in the audio days, some of those episodes are 3, 4, 5 hours long. It didn't matter. We had shit to talk about and lots of people to talk about it with.
And it was all audio. You could just do it while you're,
Right. We have to run a slightly tighter ship, even if we didn't do it tonight. But again, for my guest host, Rack Time Rob, the honcho Mark Weber, I'm your host, Mike Irizarry. Be sure to join us next week for the Happy Holiday Super Santa edition of What's on Joe Mind, the last live What's on Joe Mind of 2023. So be here with us next Tuesday night, 9:05 p.m. Eastern. Be there or be rhomboid. As our friend Vagon likes to say, hey, be safe, and if you can't, be careful. Have a great rest of the week. Yo, Joe.
Beer.